All right, guys. Today we're gonna be reacting to how a German home maximizes energy efficiency. And this is interesting because in some of the other videos we were talking about, or somebody was talking in American, how expensive, quote unquote, um, the electricity was in Germany. But some of you guys were saying, "No, it's not that expensive. I only pay like 30 bucks a month." But this is going to be a very interesting video to watch and see what's going on here. Make sure you like to subscribe. We're heading to 10,000 subscribers. Let's jump in.
All right, Kevin, so this is a typical German house. It's about 1,800 square feet. You know, US is going to be about 25 to 2,700 average.
Okay.
You can feel the scale being a little bit smaller, but it's got everything you need.
Almost a third smaller.
Kitchen's right here.
Oh, wow. A small kitchen, right?
Yeah.
It's sort of an apartment kitchen almost.
This has got everything you need in a nice compact space. Here in the living room, you can see how a typical German house is heated. There's a boiler somewhere in the building that heats water, and then the water is delivered to either radiators like this or radiant floor heating.
Right, so different looking radiators than we're used to seeing.
Right. I mean, these radiators come in every size and shape. And water is really the ultimate transfer medium. If we heat water, we can now move it anywhere we want through the building. We can zone like crazy, and it's very comfortable.
That makes sense. They're not using gas. Whoa. Whoa. How do they boil the water? I'm guessing more like with the electricity, but let's see what.
Delivering heat to a building.
So on a lot of projects that we work on, we do use radiators, but in general, the United States, don't we typically use forced hot air to heat the homes?
Right. I think that's a question of where we are. Germany is at a latitude which is north of almost anywhere in the United States, a little below Alaska, but in general, where it's a northern climate. So it's principally heating.
Right.
United States, we have a lot of places that need cooling predominantly, and so that drives the decision to use ducted systems for air conditioning. Once you have ducts,
that makes sense. That's why a lot of Germans don't use a lot of AC. They don't need it because they're a little bit above. So basically, right now, you guys might be what? It's 60, 70 degrees Fahrenheit. What? That'll be what? 35. What? 35 Celsius, I would say. During the night, it can go to what? 25 Celsius.
air conditioning, you can do heating as well, and it sort of becomes more convenient.
Got it.
And the numbers are really dramatic. 99% of the houses in Germany use radiators. 93% of the houses in the United States use forced hot air ducted system.
Wow, what a huge difference.
It's crazy. So that's how they heat the building, but also you got to think about trying to keep the heat that you make inside the building. This is a typical German house, but there's glass. Now, glass is usually a huge liability. Look at the difference here.
A huge liability because this is a great place to lose the heat through
That's
glass.
right. So feel this. This thing, it's heavy. It's triple pane glass, triple, okay? And it closes tight as anything.
Yep, and very smooth operation right here.
And if that's not enough, you can close that.
That's German engineer right there. I mean,
And you can also do this. Now, these are roll shades. Now, roll shades can drop down, so now once they close, they can provide an air gap like a storm window in the winter.
why we haven't thought about this? This makes a lot of sense.
So at night, these would come down to keep the heat in the house?
Absolutely. Now, you also can use them for solar gain in the summer, so that it'll knock down the solar gain that comes in.
So when I see these back in the U.S., I typically think of them as storm shutters, but here it's about energy efficiency?
Right, it's energy efficiency, but it's also a cultural difference. People like to close these at night to sort of keep their place private.
Okay.
And look at this, Kevin. Here's the cross section of the outside of the house. You've got concrete block right here that's insulated, and then outboard of that, you've got an additional 5 inches of insulation.
That's wrapped all the way around the house?
That's right. They want to keep the heat inside the building that they paid for. So in a German house, it's really about the size of the building. It's about how you deliver heat to the building. It's keeping the heat that you've paid for inside the
building. Oh man, oh man, we haven't think about these things, man. And I was going with my wife around Wisconsin. They have a lot of houses around here. They're building a lot of houses. But a lot of houses, they're kind of McDonald houses. I call them McDonald houses. Why did I call them McDonald houses? They literally put 4 pieces of wood put together with tape. Just around, you can tell they're not even that strong. You're paying almost $500,000 for the house. I don't like those houses. I don't see the benefit of having a house like that. When you know it's gonna have mold everywhere, it's not even strong in the bottom. They probably have a nice foundation, but then putting those pieces of wood for nothing, for not even a thought of why should you should even buy the house. it's kind of I don't know. Like when you see like concrete in your house, that's when you know it's strong. You know what I'm saying?
building. And finally, it's about its efficiency and maintaining that high efficiency over time. If I do a system in the United States, it can go in perfectly efficient, but if it's not maintained, it can drop off over time.
So if I don't change my filters, if I don't clean the furnace or the boiler, that efficiency goes down year after year.
Right. Well, German government does not want that to happen. So what they do is they send an inspector to every single house in every single town once a year.
Really?
And that inspector is the chimney sweep.
And so what is he doing? Is he literally cleaning the chimneys?
He does an efficiency test and an emissions test. If it's not up to a certain standard, it gets turned off. It has to be repaired or replaced immediately. And look at the neighbor's house right here. You can see there's a ladder built right in to allow that chimney sweep to go up to the roof to check it and make sure everything's okay.
So built into the roof because they know he's coming every year?
Every single year. Wow. Now, the other thing that's different in Germany is a thing called the Energy Pass. It's really a report card on every single building in the country, a history of how much energy is used by that building. Now, you might not think it's important, but it will come into play if you ever sell the building or if you're trying to rent an apartment. It would index what you'd pay for rent.
But it's data. You need if you're collecting data, and that data might be needed for in the future. There we go. You already have it. You don't have to go and do like another inspection. You just wait 2 or 3 years for those results. You already have it. At least it's data.
Or what you might get for the building when you sell it.
So the value of my house can be determined in part by how efficient it is.
That's right. And what it does, it really invites people to invest in their building to make it more energy efficient.
So it is really a cultural thing.
Right. It's a mindset.
Wow. He said it. He said it. He said it. He said what? It's a mindset. And that I think that in itself is very important, right? Because don't get me wrong, I like the sizes of our houses. Like he says, sort of like 2,400 square feet. With the basement and everything. Sometimes a little bit, but I think in some state that might be a little bit bigger, 3,200 square feet. But think about this, folks. Think about this. What if, right? We not only take some of this stuff, right? But we really think about how do we build our houses. Because you see the house, it might be a little smaller. Right, that's fine. But look at that patio. Look at the green energy. The United States coming around with that. A lot of our houses are building. I used to work for solar panels, and solar panels are popping up, which is great. At least it's just a great alternative to just keep our air clean. But just put it this. Let's put it this way. If we move to green energy, right, which I think is a great idea. We have to modify some of our houses. They cannot just simply be wood. They can't. We have to overthink a lot of these stuff and just, hey, we might have to bring some of these, engineers from Germany to just give us some ideas, or just send one of ours to Germany and let them just inspect some of these houses, and that way they can bring some of these ideas back. It's a very good video. Now it makes sense why a lot of these Germans, they are very efficient. Not only that, it's that they're a little higher than us, so that means that their weather is a little colder too. So they need to figure out ways to like this, keep their heat inside their house because they pay for it. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I would love to hear you guys' opinion. I will see you in the next one.